Many people today are living in a near constant state of emotional noise. There's overthinking, second guessing, mental exhaustion, fear of making the wrong decision. And when anxiety becomes loud enough, it can completely drown out quieter forms of your inner knowing. What makes this difficult is that intuition usually doesn't arrive dramatically. It doesn't come crashing in like this huge tsunami. It's usually very subtle, quiet, and easy to dismiss, which means many people ignore their intuition because they're expecting something louder, something undeniable that arrives without any questioning at all. Anxiety that tends to feel urgent. It pushes at us. It's anxiety repeats itself over and over and over again. It demands immediate answers and certainty where uncertainty is so loud and so overbearing. It often pulls us into overthinking, worst case scenarios, all the what ifs in the world, or the feeling that we need to figure everything out right this very second. Quiet intuition, however, that tends to feel very, very different. It's not always dramatic. It's not even always emotional. Sometimes it's simply a subtle inner knowing, a calm feeling that quietly continues returning, even beneath the noise. And because anxiety is louder, we might assume the loudest voice inside of us must always be the truest voice. I think many of us slowly lose trust in our own inner voice after spending so much time navigating stress, emotional overwhelm, and the constant mental noise. When you're emotionally exhausted, it becomes very, very difficult to hear yourself clearly. You begin searching outside of yourself for clarity, reassurance, and answers, any answers, for someone to tell you what's safe and correct and guaranteed. And over time, we stop recognizing the quieter ways our intuition has actually been speaking to us all along. Sometimes it's through subtle repetition, or a feeling that just keeps on returning, trying to get our attention. There's a moment of hesitation that didn't make sense until later, or there's the realization afterward that somewhere deep down we already knew. Intuition is something we're born with, but for most of us, over time, it becomes buried beneath the constant mental noise, the emotional stress, overstimulation, and just the endless pressures of daily life. Decision after decision, thought after thought, debilitating fears and overwhelming responsibilities, and simply just mental overload. And after a while, we may become so disconnected from our own internal signals that we stop recognizing when intuition is quietly trying to speak. Sometimes the problem isn't that intuition isn't there, it's that the noise has become louder than our ability to hear it. More often, it begins by creating enough quiet to notice what may have been overlooked and what may have been there underneath the surface all along. As I've mentioned, quiet intuition doesn't always arrive as dramatic moments or undeniable signs. Sometimes it's simply a very subtle feeling that just continues to return, like that gut feeling, something that makes you stop and take a pause that you just can't quite explain. It could be a lingering hesitation or like this silent pull toward or away from something. And sometimes intuition makes very little logical sense in the moment until later when you look back and realize some part of you already understood what your mind was still trying to process. And I think many people miss it because we expect intuition to feel emotionally intense, like like an alarm, when often it feels surprisingly calm in comparison to anxiety. I think we are far harder on ourselves than we realize when it comes to intuition. We assume we're disconnected from it completely, when in reality, we may simply just be overwhelmed and exhausted, overstimulated, or just no longer used to listening to ourselves in quieter ways. And sometimes the most important thing we can do isn't forcing clarity. It's creating enough quiet space to hear ourselves again. And this quieter, more reflective approach is also why I prepare my sessions privately rather than through live calls or emotionally intense back and forth conversations. Whether it's through numerology readings, intuitive guidance, or animal communication, I've found that many people absorb insight more clearly when they're able to sit with it in their own space, revisit revisit it afterward or multiple times, and process it without the pressure of responding in real time. If that approach resonates with you, I've included more information below, and you can go to my website at priscilladaphne.com. Um, Quiet intuition is very easy to miss in a very loud world, but that doesn't mean it isn't there. Thank you for spending this time with me.